So I'm letting you know what is going on with my sort of livelihood at this point. I've been working this morning and I've been kind of seeing where I really need something to manage projects and a little bit more categorically different things. And so something that's a little more expansive in life. The Google system, the Apple system integrates with all of these things. I'm looking at something that is going to manage projects again, like ClickUp, something that is going to have more notes, documents, things like that is going to give me more options to manage and add to life at this point. So I'm looking at the different options, and I'm probably going to be putting together a more expansive YouTube playlist at this point because I've talked a lot more about productivity than I realize, and I have a lot more coverage on productivity and a variety of apps that I didn't realize until just thinking about this today. So if you guys are interested, you can check it out. I'm going to be kind of just stay tuned because I might be even doing more demos for you guys on productivity apps just to expand our library of what we can do in our life, how we can integrate life into kind of a planner, project manager system. I've much more been interested in project management than in just calendar blocking. I feel like in life, project management is a lot more valuable for the way that you want to maybe expand on things, categorize things, and the way that you get involved in things tend to grow with you a lot more than you can predict time. At least in my experience, I feel like things tend to just grow with me and add up over time rather than predicting time and getting things at a specific time. I feel like what's more valuable is having things grow with me. I've seen this even in Apple Notes and managing life and categories and projects. But I want to see and explore what that looks like technically in a more expansive process like ClickUp or Notion or something like Craft that's similar. But I want to find some things that are a little bit better priced for us because I know that a lot of us are looking to make money. We're not wanting to overspend, but I also realize the value in paying for something that is useful and valuable. Structured is definitely one that I recommend to definitely pay into yearly or lifetime, depending on kind of your budget and what you're looking to do and things like that. But I also realize even things like Todoist at $5 a month could give you a lot if you're willing to really take the time and add up. Not something that I'm really into. I've looked at Todoist. I want more of a project management app and less of a time management app at this point because I feel like in life, your areas of life grow with you rather than happen at certain times. You can manage your time, and I understand where some of that is valuable throughout your week, but I feel like, and I do use some time management. I do remind myself of things, don't get me wrong. Throughout the week, I might say, at this day and time, I need to do this, or at this day and time, this is happening. At this day and time, we're going to this. I definitely do that with a calendar, but Apple and Google integrate as the foundation into areas of life which grow with us. And so I want to look at more like ClickUp, or which works beautifully on Chrome and iOS, or Apple Notes, which also works pretty beautifully on Chrome and iOS. And I've used it throughout the family and the life. So Apple Notes is definitely, I'm continuing to look at how I can improve in that. Now, this channel has become like I've updated on blindness issues, being blind, and a lot of the audience is blind. I've updated on things like work and making money somewhat, but I've also really put out my music and creativity and AI and my updates and really express a lot of different things. So I'm probably going to consider playlists to kind of help us figure out what we're interested in here on this channel, because I've really just grown in different areas of life, including and especially productivity. Not limited to productivity, though. I'm not necessarily a productivity channel, but life design, life is a reality, is including productivity. And that's just what I've had to not shut down about myself, what I've had to really learn, what I've had to really understand. And what I know about myself, that I love life design in different ways. I love exploring what that looks like, what that means, how that advances. I even love when I can get a hold of some paper and a Braille writer and really just, or a slate and stylus, and really just design on paper. I love that. I'm not even limited to digital necessarily. I love little hand crank timers that you wind up and set a timer for. I love the little clocks, the little, not even the digital clocks, although digital watches and digital alarm clocks can be cool as well. It's not all just tied to the phone. It's not all just tied to the apps, but I think that anything that helps you to be more integrated into your life, even just the clocks that you can set by hand are cool. That's what I was thinking of, and stuff like that. So, and even things like abacus, if you remember what that is, that's like a beaded, an old Chinese calculator that a lot of us would use in school. It kind of reminds me of what the concept of a spreadsheet is, because you have your beads in different rows and columns. And so that's kind of what, if you're putting numbers or even words in a spreadsheet, that's what that is. I'm interested in spreadsheets to help manage life. I'm interested in project management. I love Notion. I love ClickUp, all these different things. And so, but I want to get more into it and not necessarily classify or categorize this channel as being for or against productivity. I'm definitely for productivity and integrating, and I've understood time blocking by now, but I really want to expand. I'm not even against time blocking necessarily. I can see where it can help in a lot of different ways as well, and all of that. And Apple and Google has its really good built-in features, and you're just adding to it. And so you're adding different apps. And so I'm really looking at different things. I'm using Google Tasks, Google Calendar, Apple Notes for sure, and just looking at the different things. And so I don't know how much I'm going to update about productivity, but I'm not standing still on it, and I'm going to keep going with it. And probably I'll have updates throughout the year, every month or every few months. But mostly I'm really just creating on this channel. I'm updating. I'm talking about relationships. I'm going into life insights, deep work into life insights and relationships. And then, the life design gets pretty deep, but there's a lot of study, a lot of learning in different apps, a lot of use of different apps, a lot of experiences that I need to be a part of in not only apps, but hands-on living and paper, and in my case, Braille, and all this kind of stuff that I'm getting into, different devices that are digital or paper. And so I'm getting into all of this in even just being creative, being blind, being whatever, and even just being, just learning and observing through art, being artistic through drawing, all of these different things that are coming up in life. And so categorizing it would be a disservice to you, because you may or may not be interested in productivity. You may or may not care, but I do, and I really am creative in this. So I'm excited. I think project management is kind of where I'm taking it more to the next level, more deeply, and integrate. I want to integrate some of these things like that I've learned as skills. Time and task management can be part of that integration, but it's not the main foundation every single day. There's not every single day that I get up and I think, I have to do everything in its time and place without some sort of updates or changes to the calendar. It's just not realistic. And even those that are type A and manage their time perfectly every day and have a calendar they fall back on, they can't even do that. Like, I'm seeing people who I've watched for a long time, parent and post and all this stuff. They're not even doing that. Not even that specifically. They have to change their calendar. Myself, I backtrack on my calendar if I am managing time that way. But it really all just depends on what we're doing. I love Kanban style kind of systems. I love kind of having sections of days and sections of life throughout the day. And I have different ways of kind of managing my life in one system without always relying on time blocking or calendar blocking, but it can be a part of it if I really want to be more specific. But again, this stuff is dynamic. It's always changing. It's not linear at all. And so it's all over the place. It's chaotic, but it's coming to learning in different ways. And so I'm not afraid of doing that. But I don't want to stick to just one system or be set in stone as I've told you guys before, really. So that's where we're at. I'm looking at Tool Finder and I'm looking at different systems and I'm going, I need to update you guys. I have this need to just get this off my chest and let you know what's going on because what is this channel about? What are we getting into on this channel? Creativity, life, experience, deeper work that it takes to understand life, learning, observation, witnessing, and, behaviors of ourselves, of those that are around us, all this kind of stuff. We're getting into all kinds of stuff. Stress management. We're getting into interactions with each other. We're getting into topics of sobriety and addiction. We're getting into the balance of that and what that looks like. And the, not judging and understanding that actually sometimes people are genuinely really, really stable and really, really well who don't necessarily have to be fully on a disciplined, sober life like I might find myself. Or, there's different perspectives on that anyway. And I explore all of these things with you. And the whole point is, what does a stable, steady life look like? That's kind of my main goal for myself. But really, it comes down to, what does it look like to have creativity over your own life? That's what life is, our reality is. In reality, and accepting reality for what it is, not trying to change what we can't control, but trying to have creative agency over our life. So, hope that this kind of helps you. What is this channel about? What are we really doing here? And what is taking up my time when I'm not necessarily uploading content every day? And a lot of that is kind of finding how I like to manage life in my next phase of life, honestly, because I'm growing a lot and I want to expand how I do that. I find joy and creativity in putting life in front of me in that way and manifesting life in that way in front of me. I really do. I'm one of that. I'm one of those that do that. But I also understand not everybody needs that. So I don't want to become a fully productivity channel. Not everybody needs that. There are times in my life I don't even follow it or I'm not involved in it because I'm just living life and getting my needs taken care of, self-care, eating, sleeping, doing what I need to do, probably in ways that don't look conventional because I'm very non-conventional anyway. So I don't claim to be a productivity person or productivity guru in that way, but I am interested in creativity in life, and project management kind of seems very creative. In experience, I felt very creative doing it in an app like Notion or ClickUp, on a piece of paper, drawing or putting, typing into Braille, anything like that. Using other devices that are like a digital Braille device or drawing, one of those little drawing pads that you get at the store that you can kind of wipe off, or a whiteboard or anything like that can kind of just be more about being creative in life. So I want to expand on that further and how we can do this to make it really mindful for us and give us an enhanced creative experience in life and make it more about creativity and less about productivity. So we're going to be doing that throughout the life of this channel, throughout our growth here. But we're also putting out creativity, and it's nice getting more into music and even getting into animation now. That's been fun this weekend, as you've seen, and just different things that I like to enjoy. And part of that is just a part of this creative process. I'm not rigid in my productivity at all, but I also enjoy the having systems when I need them and as I need them, and picking them up and putting them down. So, and picking up new ones and learning things and taking the skills I've learned from other systems and bringing them to new ones. It's really fun, and I feel like I manifest life in this way. So that's what we're about here. That's what we're doing. I hope that this kind of gives you some exploration of why we're here and what we're doing and what we're about. Take care of yourself, take care of your life, take care of each other. And let's stay focused.